It's Black Power.
First of all, let me say Outlaw Radio on the Thursday night, right? Welcome to the show. I hope y'all got to let me know if y'all can hear this.
Right.
Give me your feedback. Get involved. We're going to do the show as we normally do it. I'm trying to make sure that everything is everything before we come in and get the show started off. I see we got some people on already. Forgive us for trying to get technology going. Like I said, let me know if y'all can hear it. Let me know if you can join in. If you cannot, please let us know. But other than that, I am Kevin Barnes. I'm the world-class smartass. First and foremost, I'd like to say what up to YouTube?
Right.
What up to Facebook Live? What's going on, everybody? Let me adjust my lighting.
All right. We got a lot of hats on this evening. Yeah, make it bright. Make it bright. Also, want to apologize too for last week. We had a little some technical difficulties, and so sorry about that to those who were looking forward to a show as I was.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So once again, it's your boy Kevin Barnes. I'm in the building for Outlaw Radio on the Thursday night. How y'all doing?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. We did have to cancel the show last week because we had technical difficulties, but tonight we're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
All right, and that's why I say I want to communicate with people. Let me know how you feel. Let me know that you can hear us, because if you can't hear us, there's no point in us going Facebook Live. But I am the world-class smartass. Excuse us for all of the hoo-la and all of the stopping and starting. But we are live from the Chocolate City Studios. Shout out to 3041 North.
Yes.
Shout out to the Get Motivated, Get Healthy Facebook group. Shout out to my personal page, Kevin Barnes. Hit like, hit share. It is Outlaw Radio, Black Power versus White Privilege. My man started the show out. I have to give him enough props because he actually kind of started, I just kind of put him on the spot.
Yeah, I didn't know, but it's all right. It's all right.
But we're going to get it done tonight, y'all.
Trial by fire.
Right, we're going to get it done. Yeah. And everything is everything. Hit like, hit share. Welcome to the show. Like I said, it's Thursday night. Black Power versus White Privilege, because I do want to talk about Black Power, but I also want to talk about white privilege. Because they are both concepts that we bring up and that we discuss amongst ourselves so much, right? We talk about it so much. You hear people saying Black Power, you hear people saying white privilege, but I don't know if anybody totally understands what either concept is. So welcome to the show. Like I said, hit like, hit share, hit follow. I see all y'all watching right now. We are live on our YouTube page as well. We are live on Facebook, like we said before. All of a sudden, the weather's breaking, so you got to give it up for that, right?
Yeah, we need that.
You got to give it up for the weather breaking, because we complain so much about, is summer ever going to come? Well, summer is now here. So now it's about monitoring ourselves and our own personal behavior to make sure we do us right. What's going on, man? I know I kind of put you on the spot. What's popping, man?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Like I said, trial by fire,
right.
Learn. No, it's all good. Though,
right.
It's good practice.
Make sure you check us out on Thursdays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
Thursday nights we kind of open up the weekend. Friday nights we take a night off. Saturday night we close the week out.
It down.
Right. We go in on the weekends just to close the week out.
Right.
And I try to make sure that we talk about things that are relevant to our people. Because let's be honest, a lot of the platforms that we have right now and a lot of the shows that we have don't actually talk about the things that we as people of color want to discuss. I tried to change that with this show. I tried to make sure that this show is one where we talk about stuff that's pertinent to Black people.
Right.
So tonight we're gonna talk about some current events. We're gonna talk about some stuff that's going on, but I really want to get into power, the word power in itself. So tell the people who you are, man. I know you kind of came in struggling, like, I don't know what he want me to do. Hey, he over there throwing me hands.
He was doing right. Now I'm understanding what strike? No. Talk to teach, listen and learn, man. Your true transfer engineer, the one and only, but not the only one. So we're here, man, on the Thursday night edition of Outlaw Radio.
Right, man. And it's been a very interesting couple of weeks. I didn't get to do it last week. We had to cancel the show Saturday night, which pisses me off. And Brother Jason knows I don't like canceling the show.
Man, like it's been a long time since we did this, right?
It does that. It does that, right? It does that when we don't get to come on And you get these now. Jason is starting to get the microphone withdrawals.
Is it rest or rust?
Yeah, it's like you get the microphone withdrawals because you actually fall in love with the communication.
Real talk.
You all can call in. Let me know if you need the number. We're gonna do that as well. We'll make sure that if you want to really got something to say, you can also do that. Like I was researching this whole thing about Black Power. And what is Black Power? Is it economic power? Is it education? Is it financial? What is it? Well, first we have to go back and look at the origins of Black Power. Where did it actually come from? Now, a lot of people got the concept twisted about Black Power. This actually goes back to 1954. Richard Wright wrote a book called Black Power, right? And he talked about the need for the Black man to kind of step up and establish some solidarity and establish some connections and establish a way for us to really get what we need instead of asking and begging for the man, as they call him, to give us what we need. Now, then it's extended, and of course, anybody who knows me knows that Adam Clayton Powell is one of my political heroes. So Black Power, when it comes to anything that was going on during Jim Crow, and if there was anybody who was fighting the beast, it was Adam Clayton Powell. And Adam, look up, Google him. I'm not going to tell you exactly who he is. But this is passed because the first actual division that you have with Martin Luther King comes through the split of him and the students. Mm-hmm. Because the students were tired of getting hit with rocks. So you had SNCC, you had an SCLC, right? Mm-hmm. So the students said, no, we tired of the bullshit. We tired of them throwing rocks at us and us not doing anything, Martin. So we want to start saying Black Power. We want to start saying, smack me and I'll smack you back, basically, right? So here comes Stokely Carmichael. Of course, this is extended by the original Black Panther Party for Self-Defense in Oakland, California in 1965 with Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, right? So we get into that and we approach it from that level. And then it becomes a thing because it turns from us being passive and us, oh, we shall overcome, to freedom got an AK, right? Mm-hmm. To off the pigs, right? Mm-hmm. It's a more aggressive message. What do we want? We want power. What do we want it? When do we want it? We want it right now. That's what this turns into. Okay. So when we start talking about Black Power, man, when we start talking about Black Power, we start discussing Black people being empowered in the United States of America, a country that we know had enslaved us, subjugated us for so long that it don't even make sense, right? So now, fast forward to where we're at now. Now we've continued on this message of Black Power for so long, and I don't know how much power we've actually achieved.
Yeah,
I'd like for the people to tell me how much have we achieved.
I was waiting for you to get because when did we get that?
Have we got it?
No.
How can we get it? Solution-based radio.
Yay.
That's kind of the crux of where we're going tonight with Black Power versus white privilege. Because I think they're counterbalancing each other right now.
No.
I think every time we take a step forward with Black Power, they counter us with white privilege. We're going to talk about white privilege too.
But it's not a tit for tat. Like I heard you talk about the Black Panthers, man. And right now we are sitting in a position where we have the advantage of hindsight, right? Mm-hmm. And so we were able to look at hindsight, and you want to ask about Black Power when it went from we shall overcome to freedom got
so we shall put a foot up your ass.
Till we murk all you niggas in every city.
Right.
That's what white supremacy did, right?
The devil is in the details.
You know what I mean?
The devil is in the details.
White privilege.
Right.
And so what we have was wow. Like when did we get the Black Power?
Well, you got to understand that there's kind of like a process to this where James Meredith actually was trying to get into the University of Mississippi and he was shot. Trying to get into the University of Mississippi. Mm-hmm. He was shot. Stokely Carmichael kind of took the microphone at that point. And if you don't know who Stokely is, you got to Google it. I don't have that much time.
Definitely do that.
You got to Google Stokely Carmichael. Nice. It was an incredible. Now, that was Eldridge Cleaver.
You're right.
Stokely Carmichael stepped up and kind of introduced this concept. He became Kwame Ture. Okay. So, yes, sir. And it's a long story, right? Okay, yeah. You got to understand it. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to talk about it tonight because here in Milwaukee, what we know is we live in a city that right now is 60% brown and black. What does that mean? Then why do we have half of what the median income is versus our white counterparts? Why do our children not achieve at the same level academically as our white counterparts? Why are we still being persecuted by a Gestapo police force, no law enforcement reform. Why do we have the orange pumpkin in office?
And then
straight running rampant over Black America.
And then so why are white people afraid of losing the numerical majority, right? When they as a minority, as a 20%, have always ruled the majority anyway because they sit in the seats of power. Again, white supremacy.
Well, we got to talk about
white privilege.
We got to talk about even the fact that there's a phenomena that we've never been able to overcome, right? You look at South Africa. It is Africa. It's South Africa. How can so few rule so many?
Same thing that's happening here, though.
Right.
Yeah, but agreed, you got 20% ruling 80.
Right.
Right.
Right. So we're gonna have a good time tonight, y'all.
Welcome
to
to
the
show. Time despite of that.
I hope y'all got a lot to say. Tell a friend, tell a friend. It's popping, it's going down. We came in a little late. I told you Thursday nights, I have a son, he plays sports, so I gotta kind of work by his schedule sometimes. So that happens. But we always get it in. Let me get this on to make sure I got my audio going. Sounds real good to me.
I see you.
I see a lot of people who've been following the show for a long time.
That's what's up.
Kind of chiming in, y'all. I'm calming down now because I don't like it when my equipment fails me. But that is part of what we do.
Technology is only good when it works.
Before we even go, I wanted to address something. I wanted to address the elephant in the room. I want to talk about haters, right? I want to talk about people who say, I don't watch podcasts.
We got those.
It's just, well, everybody does. First of all, if you don't have haters, you ain't doing something right.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody should be saying something against what you're saying.
I get worried when they stop.
Right. So we got a situation where somebody, shout out to my brother Kamar Carter with Get Healthy and Heal Yourself. We're going to do an incredible show. It's looking like right now it's going to be called The Warrior Report. I hope y'all ready for that.
I'm looking forward to that.
I hope everybody's ready for that. It's looking like that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Some people made some fucking shitty comments because we were trying to figure out. My brother was saying, well, he'd like to know what we're going to name the show. I want you to know that I'm not bothered by you saying something negative about what we do. And I'm not bothered by white people who say something negative about what we do. I'm going to tell you why I'm not bothered. Number one, because I've never been an individual that was concerned about what people thought about me in the first place. Number two is you can't fight the truth. The truth is what it is entirely. So if you like us, click on, hit like, hit share, hit follow, go to the YouTube page, subscribe. We've lit a match for a movement to get started. And people, if you look, you can either roll with us or get rolled over. It's one of the two. And by all means, exercise your right to choose. If you don't like the show, don't listen to it.
Real talk.
Right.
Real easy.
I'm looking for people of like mind. I'm not trying to change people's opinion about where we're going.
And you don't need to agree with everything we say.
Right.
Again,
Right.
It's about different perspectives. Right. Sometimes we sitting across the table from one another. I can see the 6, you see the 9, and we both right.
Right. Oh man. So hey. Shout out to the 414, man. I got love for the north side of Milwaukee. I always have, always will. It's where I cut my teeth. Capitol Drive and accent is in the building when you look at me. I wouldn't have it no other way. And if you disagree, give me your Cuban shit. What's what you always say?
Oh,
There you go. The show don't start until my brother do that, right? So I hope y'all enjoy what we do here. And I see we have people that come every week. I really appreciate y'all. I see my boy Tommy Reynolds. You're right. We going into the Hall of Fame in North Dakota. Your boy's a Hall of Famer. Hey, man, look.
Kudos. Congratulations.
Right. No doubt, man.
Somebody give this dude a heart.
Look, right. No, they waited. They took too long. They should have been put us in. My man's already in, but they should have put us in a long time ago. Yeah, so it is what it is. I mean, I did what I did up there. Your boy did his thing. I ain't really worried about that. I knew the kudos would eventually come. But, let's go, man. It's Outlaw Radio. So enough of that. Enough of addressing the haters and all of the other sideways shit. I want to get down to what we were talking about. I have noticed, though, that right now there's actually a movement in our country in which every time a pro-Black person says something positive for the people, there's some other Negro. And we want to talk about gatekeepers here tonight, just in case y'all don't know what a gatekeeper is. By our definition, what a gatekeeper is. And I'm here to tell you, a gatekeeper is one who is in charge of something or some kind of entity. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, the gatekeeper does not live up to his end of the bargain.
Right.
What he does is he utilizes his power separate black people and hold on to whatever authority he has to still exist as a dividing force.
Malcolm told us about it, and he said it was the house nigga in the field nigga. So same
right.
thing. Yes, sir.
Right. So when we talk about gatekeepers, we talk about black people who have been put into positions in which they could make a difference, but instead of using their powers for good, they use them for wrong. Right. Yes. So that's something we have to understand as people of color as well, that they put all the wrong Negroes into the right positions to keep us down. Now, here in Milwaukee, we know that we have a situation with our politicians in which politicians here have been living off the fat of the land. We got federal charges on a lot of our politicians right now. Like I say, you can Google anything we say. You can go in and check and make sure that the validity of what we say. Move that over a little bit for me.
Please do. Yes, sir.
You can go in and check the validity of anything we say. Shout out to my brother Sound Silhouette and Hatef.
What's up, Hatef?
Right. Yeah. Shout out to that brother. Let me make sure that we give him his props, because we actually have our series up. We got our series up right now. It's called Black and White.
Man,
it's on our YouTube page. It's not a trailer.
No.
It's an actual 30-minute episode.
Episode 1.
Right.
You know
Shout out to Clearly Clever, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Clearly Clever. He said that he missed the show last week. I know you did. Because we canceled it.
We did too.
Right, we canceled it. Yeah, because I'm one of those dudes where if shit don't go right, shit don't go for me.
Man,
I'd rather do something all the way than have doing it.
You should see this dude pout. You should see him pout when he get going like it.
Don't talk about me when I'm gone.
Well, where you going, man?
I gotta plug this in. I have plugs.
Yeah.
Unlike you, I have things to do.
Oh, look. Right. All right.
There we go.
Well, see, listen. Come on back and join us. But there's something that I always say, going back to the point you was making, man. And there's a post, and somebody wise posted this. It's black people who care about black empowerment need to separate from those who don't. Right? It's gonna be some. All blacks ain't interested in leaving the plantation. Some want to stay, and I say we let them.
Right.
That's what you hear me say. They ain't us.
Right.
So when you talk about politicians, man, that's getting indicted, and they generally 9 times out of 10 was doing was selling us out, right?
Well,
they wasn't getting rewarded for doing nothing negative for white folk.
Well, this is where we go. This is where we go. This is where we go.
For sure.
Because with the corruption now, Milwaukee's on the map right now because what's happening is there's a lot of building of infrastructure downtown, right? And matter of fact, there's billions of dollars that have been spent downtown, right?
Mm-hmm. Already.
So what we look at is we say, well, how has any of that money been involved in kind of helping people of color in the city?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it hasn't. That's the reality of the situation.
None of it.
Right.
Because when we get into a situation where we need clean water in our schools, we're told there's no money. You know what I mean? When we get into when our schools are closing and we start complaining about, asking about that, we're told that there's always no money. When we need something, there's no money. But on top of the $1 billion that have been spent on the downtown area and the trolley that they did, and they want to expand even more, there's also a $390 million thing Barrett is trying to do to fix the river. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
to make it more of a tourist type situation. Is that what I get?
Well, I wanted to talk about how Barrett actually is able to procure money for stuff like the trolley
but when there's a need. So you ask, well, what was it able to be done for the black and brown community? Whenever there's a need there's always no money.
Right.
But he's able to just pull these hundreds of millions of dollars out his ass when it's time to do something for white convenience.
You like to call it white convenience. I like to call it I think Barrett sees this as a way to do
you making me
the greater good. I think he has his own opinion of what the greater good is.
For who?
For the city of Milwaukee.
Oh,
right.
So basically what he's saying, the greater good for the city of Milwaukee doesn't include black people.
Well, at this point, I don't think Mayor Barrett even cares about black people and what happens.
Obviously.
I really don't. I really think Mayor Barrett has gotten to the point where he said, fuck black people, because even though we vote for him and
but there it is right there.
Right. Well, we vote for him.
Right.
So you got our vote. So why even service us?
So again, where's the black power?
I don't know, and that's a great question.
So I'll ask you again: where's the black power? I hear it.
It's not in our hands, obviously.
I hear it.
It's not in our hands.
I don't see it.
And one of the things is that I don't think we demand enough as people of color. I've always said this: if you want my vote, then you gotta kind of cater to me a little bit, right? You got to kind of figure out what I need and what I want. So when it comes to
has that ever happened?
Well, I don't think it ever has. I don't think it ever has.
It hasn't. And again, until we get our own party, because it's nothing more than a Google search away from what the Democratic Party have done to and not for black and brown people, and the Republicans have done to and not for the black and brown people. Until we get our own party, it's left wing and the right wing is part of the same damn bird.
Right. So what we have to figure out here is where we're going, right? We have to figure out what should we be demanding. 2020 is coming. They're going to come to our community once again, like they always do, and ask for our votes.
They're hugging you and telling God bless you and how y'all with all of the rigmarole. They coming kissing babies. They're doing all that.
Right. So what we got to figure out here is where we're going as a people. That's the most important part. And that's why I said we got to figure out how much does black power involve us actually having control over things. Because to me, power ain't, okay, we get to go sit in your restaurant, or we get to eat, we get to go in your theaters. To me, black power is centered around real economic empowerment. Our community shouldn't be ghost towns. We shouldn't have all these areas within our community that are vacant. You can drive down blocks and blocks in Milwaukee and it's not connected. You can drive down blocks and blocks in Milwaukee and nothing's open. Now we know there's brownfields, which is for a long time when our power base was economic in the city of Milwaukee, they continuously polluted our neighborhoods. They continuously polluted the buildings, and for a long time that pollution has just sat there. So it's no coincidence that we have an issue with our water. There's no coincidence that there is lead in our water. And there's no coincidence also that Mayor Barrett don't give a damn about it. And he's not, because in his eyes, it's not his problem.
But I don't even get upset at Barrett, right? We know what he is. We know what he does at this point.
Right.
I get frustrated with the 60% of the black vote that he waltzes in and gets. And then, you know what I'm saying? That's what I don't understand, because if you have any common sense at all and you look at his records, you can see he's not for you. Why are you for him?
Well, if you allow him to come into your church, you allow him to kiss babies, and you allow him to speak to your congregation, if you allow him to guide your ministry, because what's happening right now is they utilize their political position to give the church money. They utilize, and see, when we talk about black power, you got to understand at one point, the black church was the center of the black community. At one point, the black church represented our power. Mm-hmm. At one point, the black church was where black people went for understanding. They went there to meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
They went there to say, hey, this is wrong. How should we deal with it? How should we march? How should we get at these people? And it's not the same, because the black church is no longer connected to the black community the same way it used to be.
Let me tell you, they're holding on to the people that's holding on to them. The people that won't change, don't like change, will stick to believing the same lie because it's comfortable, no matter what kind of wisdom or understanding or proof is set before them. It makes them uncomfortable. And so they still believe in that old way when it's been really don't have. Just, we live in a day of information.
Right.
You can go back right now and get a 1611 version of the Bible.
Okay.
And just compare it to the Bible you have now.
Right.
Look at the changes. Look at the books that have been taken out. Look at the things that have been added and the things that have been removed. It's not difficult. So for you to still hold on to that old understanding, knowing that it's false and it was falsely given to you, a lot of it, I won't offend everybody, but
why not? You
saying it's willful ignorance. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It is. But the church still benefits from that. That's why they still exist. But they have no power at this point. People don't believe. I remember a day where you would put your cigarette out if you was walking by a church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nigga shoot you in a church now, nigga.
Well, you know,
jack you for your Bible, nigga. That's
the views. Let's be honest. When it comes to the church, the views of America, in terms of Black America, the way Black America views the church has changed. Because church has been given this stigma of being, and in particular Christianity, right? When it comes to Christianity, a lot of Black people believe right now that Christianity was the slave master's religion. A lot of Black people believe that Christianity is what they gave us to make us passive, right? I don't know that to be true. I don't know if that's right and exact. I know that I was raised in that religion, and I've never been a pacifist. I've never been one to turn the other cheek, unless I was turning your ass to kick you in your other ass cheek. But I've never been one to do that. So I've never subscribed to that mentality. Now, for some people, that may be true. And I believe, you know, like you talked about now, this slave Bible popped up, in which we noticed that there had been a manipulation of the text. Right?
Hello, somebody.
And people had utilized that text to kind of manipulate the word and make us believe a certain thing.
Right.
And they kind of wrote it in their own favor. So you can research that on your own.
You think?
Yeah, they did.
Think, right. So people that just refuse to even investigate that and still turn around and say, well, they love this God. Well, love is a choice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if it was the same thing that was given to you and we was forced to go to church as kids, man, that wasn't your choice.
Right.
So you can't turn around and say you love that and you never, ever chose to even investigate anything else so you could choose.
And they scared the hell out of you and made you think
revelation
you was going to hell.
Oh,
That's how they scared you. So
we
know that to be true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, we got an Instagram page. We got a Twitter page. We got all kinds of stuff going on. We don't have the Instagram up tonight. Brother Jason tried to get it started off. We have to work that angle. Too much to explain. We actually multitask on this show.
I'm the truth transfer engineer. Right. I'm not the
sound engineer.
Electrical equipment
right.
engineer.
Obviously not. Right. Obviously not. So yeah. We'll get all that back popping, man. Don't even worry about it. We'll get the Instagram involved. I got to figure out a way to put the Instagram show up. Like I said, we got all these people that have said they support what we do. We just got to figure out better ways to get them in touch. But I did want to talk about something right now, because we had a mass shooting last week in Virginia Beach, and we know the summertime is here, so there's probably the likelihood that there's going to be a bunch of different mass shootings once again in the summertime. We know that that's coming. But arms, like guns in this country, are a very, very big issue. I love guns. I am a gun owner. And I say, if you are a responsible individual and you're not a felon or a child molester or a woman beater, you should have the right to legally own arms. I've long said that one of the problems with guns was that the people who ain't supposed to have guns are the ones that have them. So they don't give a shit about the gun laws anyways. Now, on the other hand, you hear conservatives continuously harp on, well, they're trying to take our guns. They're trying to take our guns. I don't believe that to be true. And I don't believe that is the method here, but I believe as long as you don't address guns, I think we'll forever have a problem with them. I, for one, personally believe that there should be a regulation amongst the gun manufacturers. I think the people who make the guns and make the ammo should be regulated.
Well, they got too much money, right?
Right.
So they can send lobbyists, right, to bribe the politicians, right? Again, the system. It's a hole in the bucket. You can pour as much water in it as you want to.
Right.
The same shit is going to happen until you fix the damn bucket.
I believe that as well.
Yeah.
I don't.
Sometimes we're addressing the wrong thing. We're addressing the effect. We're putting a Band-Aid on the wound.
Right.
Right. If you're getting a headache and you're taking a lot of Tylenol for the pain, at some point you need to address and understand what's giving you the headache. But if you don't like spider webs and shit, but you don't want to kill the damn spider, what you think gonna keep happening? It's dumb.
Right. Now, look, just to change it a little bit, because I think something very funny has happened this week. I don't know if you all have been watching, and I'm an old hip hop head. I come from the old school when it comes to rap music and hip hop. But if you've watched, you've seen this little young brother, Lil Nas X, come in with this Old Town Road song, And white people, especially country music fans, are pissed off, right? They are pissed off because this song has become such a hit. This brother even got a deal with Wrangler, right? He got a deal with Wrangler.
Didn't he just buy Garth Brooks like a car or something?
Yeah, he gave him a Maserati.
He gave him a Maserati.
Right. But now they're saying this is cowboy appropriation because we always say culture bandit. You know, you a culture vulture. Don't come into our culture and invade our culture. But this brother's coming here. He got the cowboy boots on. He's got the. I seen him with the jacket with the fringes on it. And this Old Town Road song has taken flight. First of all, before you start saying cultural appropriation, understand that when you talk about cowboys and their version of the Wild Wild West, it's wildly inaccurate.
Hey, let's get to it.
Because I do believe 2 and 5 cowboys in the Wild West were black. So when you talk about
probably the best one,
right? Country western music. When you talk about the music that they celebrate as theirs, it's actually a derivative of gospel, and blues, and rock and roll, right? Bluegrass, all of that shit, honky tonk, all that's black music, anyways. Let me tell you something. Black people are the race that put the drums to the music. Black people are the race that took the guitar and made it go wow instead of ding 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 ding. Right? So before you start talking about cowboy appropriation and all this bullshit, and look, I'm a hip hop fan, so I said, nah, man, I ain't with that shit at first. Then I started to understand, wait a minute, this young brother's on to something. He hit hard with this. And he's gone from, he bought the beat off YouTube for $35. He's a millionaire. He said, I can finally move out of my sister's house. Hey, yeah, young brother, you finally can.
Yeah, you think?
Right. And he gave Billy Ray Cyrus.
Make sure you buy your sister a house too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And he gave Billy Ray Cyrus, he gave him a Maserati.
That I didn't get. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, he gave Billy Ray Cyrus a Maserati.
Because he needed it, right?
No, because he came in and kind of legitimized him.
Okay, so it was a thank you type situation.
Right, because he was fighting this fight.
I'm sure there was some racist bullshit going on.
Yeah, they actually took the song off of off the charts.
All right.
Because they said this is not country western music. So they had actually taken the song off the charts. Mm-hmm. So the young brother was kind of dealing with that. And Billy Ray Cyrus came in, and we all know that Achy Breaky Heart, Billy Ray Cyrus is one of their guys. He came in and said no and jumped on the remix, and this thing became official.
Well, that's what's up. Then I feel a little bit better about the car he gave him, whatever, you know.
Right. Well, I'm sure that car,
give back.
I'm sure it was paid for, right? I'm sure that he didn't pay for it out of his pocket.
But as a rule, generally, understand they don't create. They're not creators.
Right.
They steal. They take. Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't create. So generally, everything that they say they create is a lie. So you can generally look to find who they stole it from or discovered it from.
Right. So it's Outlaw Radio on a Thursday night, man. Black power versus white privilege. Which one do you believe in? Y'all chime in and let me know what y'all think black power is. See, I think the definition of black power needs to be rewritten. I think the fact that even though we had a black president who everybody loves, and I'm no Obama groupie, I like to say, why wasn't there law enforcement reform done under Obama?
Hello.
Why was he so focused on helping everybody else, i.e. gay people?
Gays.
Right? Gay people got skipped to the front of the line.
Yes, they did.
Way ahead of us.
Hello.
Obama, who everybody loves, and get mad at me for saying anything about it. Don't you say nothing about Obama now. I draw the line right now. They get mad at me about it. But should we not turn now and look, like I've always said, Obama's presidency was a wasted opportunity. I think we could have got a lot more done with Obama in office than we actually did.
And I was one of those who believed.
Okay.
Right? Like I just knew you know what I would say? Wait till his second term when he ain't got to worry about running no more. The last 2 years of his second term, man, he ain't do shit.
Right. So, I mean, like you said, you were waiting on that second term. What actually happened during the second term?
Nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, like you said, there was no prison reform. The things that he knew. Listen, this dude is supposedly living from Chicago.
No, he's from Hawaii.
Well, I understand, but you know, he cut his teeth or whatever. Did his thing in Chicago.
Right.
Regardless.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. And that's exactly what's been happening ever since.
Okay.
We got time, like we said. Hindsight is 2020. We can look back at his presidency and see what he didn't do, what he could and could have done for us.
Okay.
As black people.
Right.
And we see he didn't do shit, man. We keep celebrating him.
I don't want to make the show about Obama because that's been discussed and we've had shows that discuss that.
Yeah.
But, I just think it was a wasted opportunity for Black America because I think a lot of the things that we're talking about now should have, could have, and would have been solved had he kind of been a little bit more proactive in, trying to get us some rights. Shout out to Javon Terry. He said the top slave can't say the bottom slave. I totally believe that, my brother. I think you hit on something real important right there. I do. I believe in that. I believe what you're saying to be true. Let us know how y'all feel, man. I've been watching She's Gotta Have It. Now, I don't know how many of y'all watch Netflix, right? First of all, I really love the show. I didn't think I would like it, but I do. I love She's Gotta Have It. I think it's a great show. I wasn't necessarily a fan of the first movie with Spike Lee and all that, but I think it's a great show.
It's still Spike, right?
Yeah, and it's filmed the way, but it's so cultural in terms of the art and in terms of the music and in terms of the perspectives of the Black people who are dealing with gentrification. Pay attention to that because gentrification is headed for our asses next here in Milwaukee. But there's some controversy behind it because John Boyega, who is a British actor who has risen to prominence in the Star Wars movies. He's did Pacific Rim. He did a bunch of shows. And right now, there's a conversation about British Black actors coming over, acquiring roles that Black African-American actors should be occupying, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a real controversial scene in which the sister who plays Nola Darling is having a conversation. She has a British guy who she's involved with, and she explains to them that they have gotten lost in love and Massa so much that they don't actually share the same anger that we share, and that they really need to stop being focused so much on how much they love Massa and focus on you're taking roles from Black men and Black women. Now, the issue with this is he counters by saying they have it easier intellectually because they're not burdened with what happened to Black people in this country, right? So you have two healthy arguments. I don't know what side you're on. I tend to side with Samuel L. Jackson no matter what, because Samuel L. Jackson actually spoke on the topic and said, "Motherfucker," right? He said that it was taking roles from Black actors, which I do believe. But I do believe that English actors oftentimes are better equipped because of their training that they receive with the stage in theater and all that. I kind of believe they do come a little bit better equipped and better schooled because they're able to engage in it from an earlier age than Black actors. So it is a conversation that has to be had. It's something we have to talk about in our country in terms of because I said Black people only come from America. And me and my brother have had a very healthy argument here because if you're from England and you're Black, you're African. You're not. They don't call you Black. They call you African. They call you a Jamaican. They call you a Nigerian.
It don't matter what they call you. It matters what you answer to.
Okay.
Because they called us colored. The one we settled on now, which is still, technically according to the definition of the word, I have a problem with. But that's what we identify ourselves with as, or as. So. We go with that for now.
Okay. Finally, I got this where I wanted it.
I see.
I'm gonna keep pushing them. I'm gonna keep pushing them until I get it right. Right.
I got echoes.
I'm gonna keep right. Now we're where we need.
I'm hearing voices.
Right. Is that my uncle? I have a sister that wants to come on. Her name. I'm not gonna give you her name yet, but she wants to come on and talk about the NAACP. And its irrelevancy here in the city of Milwaukee.
Please come.
First of all, historically, the NAACP, and I think we may have talked about this on our last show, activism versus activity. But the Urban League and the NAACP, all these historical organizations that represented us and that were supposed to be, they were the first ones that helped us get voter rights, and they were the first ones to come and fight on the front lines about open housing and stuff like that. I can't wait till she comes on. And her mother was actually a president of the NAACP for a very long time. So
Listen,
shout out to Miss Beverly.
Yeah,
I hope she's watching. I hope she catches the show. We're gonna have her on here Saturday night. We'll come back and close this week out, and we get faded on Saturday nights. I don't know if you all know, on Outlaw Radio, we get faded all the time. Anyway, let me just say that, right? We're always faded.
I have my fingers crossed over here.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just vitamin water.
But on Saturday, it's a theme for you should be faded. You should be getting ready to go out. You should be getting ready to go shake your ass and do what you do on Saturday nights. Because I do believe black people have the right to be happy. I don't think black people should be walking around all the time with the mean mug on. I think we have to find ways to be happy. I think you deserve a smile.
At least amongst each other.
Right.
If you had a mean mug on, you had a mean mug to the people that's doing something to you.
Right.
On a large level. But I'm saying when you're amongst each other, when you're amongst family, raise your countenance.
Right. So it's okay. It's okay to go, the summer's coming, man. First of all, we've had a very long, screwed up, cold winter, right? So go out, man, especially if you got a lady. Go on out, man. Go out, take your lady out, show her a good time. Take her to jazz in the park.
I was going to say, are you saying go to jazz in the park?
Man, take her everywhere, man.
Are you saying
take her everywhere? Right. Take her everywhere you can. Have a good time, and smile, man. Smiling is part of you being healthy, right? And we want health for our people. You keep all that anger bottled up in you all the time. Pretty soon you're gonna do something to somebody if you don't do something to yourself.
We need to be healthy, wealthy, wise, free, happy, and full of joy.
Yes, sir.
Hello, somebody.
Yes, sir. Shout out to my boy Kamar Carter. The Warrior Report is coming.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. He said the post was dope. I put the animated logo up on Facebook.
I like that.
I have a lot of animated logos for our show.
That's what's up.
Shout out to anybody who has a platform right now. First of all, I want people to understand, if you got something to say it, right? Don't hold that shit in.
Yay.
If you got an opinion that you want to express, get it out, right? Because we just seen the county has come down and said that racism is a health issue in Milwaukee. It's a health crisis, a public health crisis. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
And ain't gonna put a damn dime towards fixing it.
Well, you have an Office of African American Affairs right now that the county runs, and they still have not created budgeting for them, right?
So fuck all your little reports and shit. But let us know when you're trying to do something.
Right. Yeah, you talk a good game, right?
Yeah, fuck
you
that
talk
shit.
A good game, man. Hit like, hit share, hit follow. We got a YouTube page. We got a Twitter page. It's all the People's Network. Join my Facebook group, the People's News Network. But we talk about stuff like this all the time.
Very informative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we get it in, man.
I visit it at least once a day.
And everybody should.
Yeah.
I think everybody should. I think people should
go
go and check it out. Because like I said, black people don't give a shit about Kardashians. At least the black people who I know don't. Black people don't give a shit about the Grammys. We don't give a shit about the Oscars. We don't care about none of that.
Yeah, no.
What we care about is news that's pertinent to our people. We want to know how we going to get this money. Because the money is very important.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the bread, man. You can make a lot of noise, but if you don't have, like I could tell a million brothers to get off the corner. I can sell you that dream. I can tell you, hey, man, you don't need to be out here selling this dope and all that. But unless I have somewhere for them to go and make some money, unless I can give them activities to occupy their time, then it's really just idle chatter.
It used to be a time where a brother would come up and say, hey, brother, if you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord.
Well, that's not a job. That's okay, too.
Right. But they would go take you to the church.
Right. Okay.
Church would get you a job, right? The church would help you with your resume. You know what I'm saying?
Brother Jason gonna find a way to get at that church. I don't give a damn. We could be talking about whatever.
I'm saying the church used to do these things, right? This was positive shit, right?
Well,
you could depend on the church. They had that, go learn computer skills and shit, right? If they had food pantries and the whole nine. I'm trying to give them props how they used to be.
Yeah, shout out to my sister Serena Brown. I see her in the chat room. She represents the Get Motivated, Get Healthy Facebook group, which I talk about all the time on here.
Right.
We're going to do the Warrior Report. My brother Kamar Carter's coming in. He's all about the holistic medicine and the healing. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about wellness on a level that other people ain't touching on, because it's not just exercising. It's not just, I don't eat meat. You got people who won't say they won't eat beef, but they don't exercise. And you wonder why their ass still 550, right? So we got people who tell you what they will and won't eat, what they will and won't do. But there's a holistic approach to healing us. And you got to understand, black people have a very unique biology, right? We're made differently from other people. Mm-hmm. So it's very important that we get invested in, especially as we get older, right?
Right.
You know, I think I got more time behind me than I do in the front.
Right.
So I really want to, I get invested in stuff that's going to benefit me. Now, I'm not saying I'm going vegan right away, right? Because a brother still like a steak every now and then. Yeah. I will still slap a rib on the grill.
Or just one.
Well, you know, a whole rack of them. But I do support the Get Motivated and Get Healthy Facebook group. I also support 3041 North, 44810-3131. I also support the DAMG ENT Music Entertainment group.
Yes, sir.
You know, KT Killing them out here now, got his project out here. And I want to say to black people who have black businesses or black platforms, you can always holler at us. We're not trying to knock, you know, the stuffing out your Egg McMuffin. But teamwork makes the dream work.
Hey.
And, you know, you can have the greatest business in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it's not going to make any money. You can have the greatest album ever, but if only you and your mama hear your mixtape, you'll never go platinum. So you got to get involved with some people who will help you push your agenda and your ideas and pursue your dreams.
Well, moms will tell you dope.
Right, baby, can't nobody spit it like you. You got bars, baby. Right, but if nobody ever hears that shit, it's never going to sell, right?
Hey.
And Snoop say, you never go platinum, right? So get involved, man. We got to have solidarity. We got to work together, man. It takes all of us coming together, you know, because we can strike a mighty blow as a fist, but you ain't doing shit with one finger trying to poke somebody. I can poke you all day unless I poke you in your eye, but if I punch you in your eye, it has a different effect. It takes 5 fingers to make a fist.
All right.
So, unity in our community. You can't say community without saying common unity.
Common unity. That's the word.
So we got to get involved.
And until we have that for real. It's just a catchphrase.
Right.
Because until we have that, really, there is no black power.
And we try to do solution-based radio here. We talk about the problems. We don't want to just talk about the problems. We want to talk about some of the solutions.
So when we talk about Spike Lee and the young brother arguing back and forth,
you didn't tell me how you felt about it.
No, because I didn't want to discredit the research and stuff you put into it, but to me, it's irrelevant until we own our own studios. Right? You see what I'm saying? So this person arguing over who gets the job from the white man, or this person arguing about who's taking the job from the white man. Problem is the job is coming from the white man.
That's the
or the pink person. Excuse me. Be abstract. so I'm just saying the argument is moot. We need to stop addressing the effect and start addressing the cause.
Right.
There's a reason things keep happening the same way. There's a reason MLK is fucked up in every city. It's not a coincidence.
Right.
So we can complain that they fucked up in every city, or we can say, well, why the fuck is MLK fucked up in every city? Who's doing this?
Why is that for the person who stood for peace? Why is that the most violent street in every city?
It's a slap in your face is what it is, right? So who understand who's slapping you, man, and then let's get busy.
Yeah, man. Outlaw Radio on the Thursday night, man. Black power versus white privilege. We talked about the source, the origin of black power, the ideology of the fact that black people would no longer just kind of take it, as they say. The fact that black people wanted to rise up and kind of empower themselves. And a lot of people don't understand that the original intention of the Black Panther Party for self-defense was political empowerment. You have to talk about Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton. Huey ran for the mayor of Oakland.
Right.
The Black Panthers did not want separatism. They wanted equality and empowerment. And a lot of people, historically, who we look at as great people, they didn't support black power. Martin Luther King didn't like the term black power because he thought it held the same kind of connotation as white power, which is kind of confusing to me. I kind of look at Martin kind of funny on that one and say,
well, I think Martin, towards the end of his days,
right?
You know what I mean? Understood the error of his ways. I think that's why later on you started seeing Martin with Elijah Muhammad. You started seeing pictures with him and Malcolm shaking hands. He started saying things like, I fear I've led my people into a burning building.
He said that.
He started telling them when we march on you this time, we coming for our check.
Right.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So I think later on, what they've done is they've reduced him to a tagline now. I have a dream.
I have a dream,
right?
Which at the time wasn't even a popular.
Not at all, but they've reduced him to that. Just same thing they did to Malcolm, and by any means necessary. Right. It's a tagline, which really, and I'm sorry, don't be mad at me, is what Black Power is. It's a tagline. Don't mean shit.
I'm sorry. Shout out to Coop Coop. She'll be back.
Yeah, what's up, Coop?
Shout out to Coop Coop, our sister. She'll be back. I know she was celebrating her birthday. I left her alone. Baby girl, do your thing.
Yeah, listen.
That's our estrogen, man.
I want to celebrate my birthday.
Right. Well, no, you don't get no days off. On your birthday, your ass better be right here.
I want 3 weeks.
No. You will not get 3 weeks for your birthday. Your microphone will be taken. Shout out to Coop Coop, man. She'll be back.
Take this.
She'll be back, man. So shout out to Coop Coop. No, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's it, man. I think I made my point. We good.
Right. You got something over there on your notepad, man. Go ahead.
Oh man, just you know what? I wanted to say a shout out to some people, man, and people like these brothers, man, the true media, who is out here just recording the police. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the Black Panthers, and something they used to do was police the police.
Right.
You know, and so, but these cats ain't out here with rifles and whatnot, because we see how that can happen, how that can turn out. But they just out here with cell phones, man, out here with cameras.
Right.
In the communities, and I want to, encourage more cats, more groups, to spend your time.
Doubt.
If you're out there anyway and you're doing some debauchery, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Have your phone out, man, and
getting faded,
and be your brother's keeper, right?
Right. Do that. We encourage that.
Also wanted to talk about, because every now and then, we'll say we'll have a Googleable moment. Right.
Google it.
Right.
Use this.
So there was something, man, going on in Indonesia. I might not be pronouncing this right, but it's a West Pau P-A-P-A-U. Pau.
Like New Guinea.
You finished college. So
right. Multiple colleges. Yes. I am the owner of several degrees. Yes. And I still owe the government for every last one of them. So yeah. Please continue.
You might know the correct
All my words is on layaway. Everything I say on here is on layaway. Yeah, go ahead.
But no, it's just, man, it's some genocide going on, man.
Right.
It really, and it's understood. I just want people to understand that they only tell you what they want you to know. It's a whole lot of things going on, man, that the media does not, readily give you information. And anything that comes from the Associated Press, I want to tell you, is sensitive. So media source, man, that's outside of that,
right,
and it's difficult to do. Check it out. That's what's so great about the internet, man, because we get to tell you this right here.
And that's what's so great about Outlaw Radio, is because we are unbossed, unbought, and unbothered.
Yes, sir.
And we're also unfiltered. We can say whatever we want to say. So the opinions expressed on Outlaw Radio are solely those of the motherfucker that said it. So know who to be mad at. And usually it's him that you're mad at, because he will go completely, not like I don't have my moment.
I say the stuff that he says when the mics is off.
Don't tell nobody that. Everybody loves me.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Brother Chris Townsend said, how many motherfuckers still getting killed on camera? He said they'll never give you what you need to know in regards to your point about
real talk, bro.
The media. No doubt. Shout out to Chris Townsend, man. It's my man, 50 grand from the original Black Panthers of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Shout out to Chris, man.
Love, man.
All power to the people,
yay,
brother.
Yay.
But it is Thursday night, man. Let us know how y'all feel. Black Power versus white privilege. Now, I said I was going to talk about white privilege. So for all those people who act like they don't know what white privilege is, here's another discussion that has to be had. I'm going to give you the most clear-cut example of white privilege that I can in this day and age.
Okay.
George Zimmerman murders Trayvon Martin and spends not a day in jail and is exonerated for his murder.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Vick killed dogs, and his NFL career was derailed. He lost millions of dollars. And still to this day, no matter what Michael Vick does, even though he done his time, and he has a felony behind this shit, white people who see him say, he murdered dogs. George Zimmerman still walking around selling Skittles, selling paintings, selling all kinds of bullshit.
He's a supremacist celebrity.
Right. So, and another clear-cut example of white privilege. Here is my man in Philando Castile in Minnesota, and he's murdered by an Asian officer, but by a department that's governed by white people. In a white suburb in Minnesota.
Talk about it.
And then you see the officer who was in Minneapolis who shot the lady, the Australian nationalist, and he is of Somali descent. he's convicted and sent to jail.
Right away.
This is what we talk about
It's
with white privilege.
Right in your face.
Here's another one. Alderman Wachowski here in Wisconsin, who has received $90,000 over the last 10 years from the University of Wisconsin Whitewater for some shit he didn't even do. He was supposed to be researching seatbelt usage.
Right.
First of all, he closed the company down 10 years ago, and he's still been payments ever since. $90,000 he received, right? Mm-hmm. Here we go, right? Mm-hmm. Look at Willie Wade. $30,000, $50,000 federal indictment.
Hello, somebody.
Look at Michael Bonds. I believe he was $19,000 federal indictment. So when I say white privilege, when I say how come right now statistically a white man with a college degree, with a high school diploma, statistically earns more than a black man with a college degree? That is all white privilege. The complexion for the connection. Ooh. You know, the majority rules, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I always say, you know, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you for doing what you do, because as controversial as it sounds, I'm not really that much against separate but equal. The problem is when we separate, but the shit ain't equal.
Well, yeah.
Right. So when I say white privilege, I talk about the automatic privilege. Because, see, you can have a white friend. You can have a white friend who hangs with you. He might have gold in his mouth. He might have tattoos on his arm. He might slick his hair back. And you might give him a pass to say nigga and all kinds of shit. Man, this white boy cool, right? And you hang with him and you say, this is my boy. When it comes time for a job interview, he can go home, take them gold fronts out his mouth, comb his hair into a nice white boy style, go in there and speak the Queen's English, and his ass is going to get hired at a higher rate than you. I'm not saying don't be friends with white people. I'm just saying understand white privilege and how it works. There's no need for us to be confused or even ask, well, why is that? Well, we know why. Because he's white. She's white. And white privilege is so indoctrinated into white people that they can't even see. You said they can't see the forest for the trees. Mm-hmm. A lot of white people just say, I don't understand. Of course you don't. Because I'm going to tell you one last thing before I let my brother Jason go into this. Yes, the one thing we can't do as black people in this country is separate ourselves. I say we have three S's to choose from: sovereignty, solidarity, or separatism. Two of those things have to be stricken down early, right? We can't do separatism. We can't do sovereignty. I don't believe financially we're ready to do either one of those things. All we have is solidarity. Now, white people can go and move to New Hampshire right now in a town with all white people and never come into contact with a black person at all. They have the ability to do that. Therefore, there's no need to understand anything that pertains to people of color. Empowerment. I think we should change the terminology from black power to black empowerment, meaning let's empower ourselves, because power in itself is a vague word. I can say black power. Well, what does that mean? I think empowerment is a little bit more specific into where we need to be moving and grooving as a people. Go ahead, my brother.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just think it's a little bit less about the terminology, okay, as to the spirit of what we're saying. Okay. So we had whatever our understanding was when we were saying black power. If we were all on board, our belief would have made it powerful. Right? Okay. But what it is at this point, it's a slogan. Right. It's a T-shirt. It's right, because it's a dream, because it really does not exist right at this point, because we have no power here at all. Mm-hmm. We don't and until we have unity, some solidarity, we will not have any black power. So the next time we have this conversation, it's my hope that we have this, that it's labeled this way. Okay. White privilege versus black privilege. Because at some point or another, we need to at least be privileged amongst ourselves. Right. You should be able to go into a black neighborhood and it's a friendly environment because you're black. Not people that are mean mugging you and where you have to be afraid. Security following you around. You're afraid of your own people. So when I walk into a black store and I'm a black person, there should be some black privilege. You know what I'm saying? When I'm doing business, when I'm having customer service, just if I'm working a job for them, and a black person comes in, there should be some black privilege. I used to work as a ticket checker, a parking enforcement officer, and I would try to give some black privilege. That means if I'm in your neighborhood, I'm gonna try to give you the privilege that they give in their neighborhood. So let's start there, right? Okay. Because that's free. That don't cost shit. Nobody won't die for that. You know what I mean? So let's start there. Let's have some black privilege, and then we can maybe try to do something about this white privilege.
And I think we also have to work harder at putting ourselves in position of so-called power. I think one problem that we have right now is, even though, and I believe that Chris ably said, that this is a health crisis and all that shit, but he's also running for re-election.
But come right.
And let's be honest,
he wants your vote
on the county level. You established the Office of African American Affairs, like I said, and shout out to my sister Nicole Brookshire. Shout out to her, and I would never knock her hustle. But what have they done? What has the county really done? What has the city of Milwaukee really done to address the issues of people of color? Little to nothing. If this is one of the poorest cities statistically in this country, why is it that the people of color here represent one of the poorest demographics in the country?
If this is
why do we have 53206 sitting here and it's as deprived and depressed as ever, but you have the wild counties, Washington, Ozaukee, and Waukesha, that have some of the highest median incomes in this country? Get outside. Come on, man. Let's be honest. Let's hit them right. Let's talk about it right. This ain't another speech. This ain't another I have a dream speech, and this ain't the kind of show or the podcast where you're going to hear us kind of give you all these kinds of unrealistic speeches about, and it's not that I don't believe it. I do believe black come from a very strong, powerful place historically on this planet. I do think a lot of our history has been kind of erased and removed
absolutely all of
to keep our beliefs and our morality down and to have these deteriorating conditions in our community.
Yes, sir.
So I think what we need to do is grab a hold of it ourselves and take it, the bull by the horns and say, no, we don't need no help. I think James Brown once said, I don't need you to give me nothing. Just leave the dough cracked and I'll come in and get it myself. Right. Yeah. And I very firmly believe in that.
That's
the
all
problem is when we start striving, stop with the glass ceiling, stop putting all kinds of barriers in our way. When we make up our mind that we're going to do things positive, when we make up our minds that we're going to achieve what we need to achieve, and we're going to do it the right way, there's no crooks involved. There's no, there's no, I'm not going to steal nothing. All this kinds of we take these these shortcuts on everything.
Right.
But a lot of us as brothers say, nah, man, I'm going to do this the right way and I'm going to provide for my family. Because for me, it's all about establishing a black legacy, right? It's me putting things into place right now so that when I do go to take that nap, my kids can say, well, it's sad that daddy's gone, but I get the Benz, I get the Beamer, I get the mansion. I want them to have something to, but then when they open the safe and see that everything is written down and
somebody do get the Benz.
Right.
And somebody do get
and somebody get the bike. Right. And somebody don't get shit.
I always say it this way though. Imagine when you pass away.
Right.
Okay. The few people that you gave a damn about, the few people that meant something to you in your life, they in a room together, right?
Right.
And they talking about you and what you were and what you meant.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want them to say? Because that's how you should be living your life. What do you want them to say about it? I'm not to fuck with people who say, no, the people that fuck with you,
right.
The people that you care about, the people that cared about you.
Right.
What do you want them to say about you when you're gone? Because that's what you should be constantly. Right. Real talk.
I once heard somebody say that the proper goal of living your life should be to leave this world in a better state than you found it. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to ask yourself is, are you able to do that? Have you had an impact in which you kind of left things better than they were when you found them?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you have. I hope right now you pursuing whatever it is that you want to pursue. I hope that you are finding some reason to move forward, because if you can't find a reason to move on, you find a reason to quit. And I hope you don't let anybody right now tell you what you should or you shouldn't be doing. Because people are quick to tell you what you shouldn't be doing, but they will very, very, very seldom tell you how you should be moving.
Hello.
Now they'll tell you what you should be doing, but they won't give you the right way. Right?
Because they don't know.
But they'll give you their version, right? But they'll give you 50,000 reasons to not do something, but they don't have 50,000 reasons on why you should do something.
Don't let nobody tell you a better way to do something they ain't never done.
Right. It's just like that girl who ain't got no man but got advice for everybody.
Oh, we know plenty of that.
Right. Come on, Chris Townsend said, as soon as a motherfucker gets shit, he forget about what it took to get it. And when he what did he say? Then he ends his or her white privilege and that money that brought them. I think what Chris was saying on there is that, as Black people, when we get ahead, we do kind of tend to forget. And one thing about this that I've always talked about is our definition of success is based on a European model. Our definition of beauty is based on a European model. Like white is right. Like a lot of us wish and we are envious of that white privilege. And we look at it and say, damn, I wish I had it that good. Which is why, in my opinion, a lot of brothers go out and get white girls because they feel like, you hear brothers say, my credit went up. I have more now. You can't have nothing with a black woman. And all these kinds of fallacies. I think that a lot of black people really want to pursue their own whiteness. That's why you see we drive what they drive. We wear what they wear. We want to live in their communities. We want so bad to live in their communities that when we try to move into their communities and they tell us they don't want us there, we get mad. Instead of taking our money and establishing our own prominent black community.
So that's what I have in response when you talk about gentrification. Okay. We know it's coming. We know they're finna displace us, right?
You know it's coming.
Let's get ready. Let's do something about it. The same way when there was white flight, these white people was able to go to these suburbs and make them super spectacular at this point. They got everything they need out there. Right. We should be able to do the same thing. But I'm saying as far as us going after their definition of beauty and their definition of right and so on and so forth, that's always going to happen as long as they control two things: the media and the education system. No doubt. So when you want to argue, charter schools versus this, as long as they control the curriculum, it doesn't make a difference.
Right. Hey, no doubt, man. And there's so much conversation to be had about this. And we usually have those conversations here. Once again, we'll be on Saturday night at 7:30. Now, I want people to know our normal schedule is Thursdays and Saturdays, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. That's Thursdays and Saturdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Right. The Warrior Report is coming with me and my brother Kamar Carter. We haven't really got the details of what day we'll do it, but it's coming. So that's going to be kind of like a third show on the People's Network, a third night, I should say, second show, because there's Outlaw Radio and then they'll beat that. So stay with us on that. Yeah. Brother, I did see a post. And this is something that people might think, they might say, I didn't expect Kevin to say that. I seen where these white people have released these T-shirts that said it's okay to be white. And they faced a bunch of backlash from people. And people were upset that they had these it's okay to be white T-shirts. I don't think there's anything wrong with a white person having it's okay to be white T-shirt. Because we got Black is Beautiful. It's a black thing you wouldn't understand. Black power, black whatever.
How many white cities have black people bombed?
Well,
how many white people have black people lynched?
Let me see.
So that's the difference. You don't brag on your whiteness. Okay. Your white history is deplorable. It's horrible. Right. You should be ashamed of it. You should be ashamed of your devils. Again, you steal, kill, and destroy. Then you haven't stopped. Really?
That's what I said.
It's not the same. You can't compare.
I don't see anything wrong with it's okay to be white T-shirt. You said you don't like it, obviously.
No, I'm saying there's a difference. Let's not pretend that white power is the same as black power. No,
it's not.
No, there weren't crosses burned in the name of black power.
No doubt.
There weren't people lynched in the name of black. There weren't penises cut off and stuffed in their mouth in the name of black power. So it's not the same.
I had something real funny to say.
Well, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm pumped. This you're gonna tell me later, right?
Right. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. So it's not the same. That's my point. Like you have to consider the history. Just the same way they want to know. Well, how come black people can say the N-word to another black person? That will consider the history. Stop acting dumb.
Okay.
Because the one thing white people are is dumb.
Right. Let me know how y'all feel about if you see a white person walking down the street with it's okay to be white T-shirt. Do you get upset about it? Are you pissed off about it? Do you want to rip it off? Because it's just like I say, well, we don't like movies with blackface, but a lot of people, which I thought the movie was stupid, but the Wayans brothers made White Girls, which I thought was a dumbass movie. I didn't think it was funny at all.
Who made that?
The Wayans brothers.
Okay, now wait. Now, what studio produced that and allowed that bullshit?
Well, I can't remember.
I guarantee it wasn't a black one because we don't have any.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And you got to understand that a lot of the Wayans have married white women. So, Once again, I thought it was
Jesters, the jesters.
I think we'd be upset if there was a movie called Black Girls and there was 2 white dudes playing black women in the movie. I'd be upset because I say that's some bullshit. So I like, see, I
wait. You mean the same way they make The Last Samurai and then we have Tom Cruise?
Right. If I was Asian, I'd have been mad about that.
I'm just saying, it's they come on, man. They have jacked every culture it is.
Right.
Like this is the same people that have the Cotton Club that's headlined by black people
that they had to go in the back
that
door.
Ain't allowed in.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So stop. People open up.
Right. Hey, get your what is that? It's okay to be white shirts.
Well, listen, if you're gonna wear that on the back, say it's okay to enslave. No, it's okay to molest.
I say this,
right?
Get that shirt, and I'll meet you on North Avenue. If I'm not there yet, just wait on me to get there. Just wait on me to get there.
Wait, if it's a white girl, she built, she gonna do all right.
Right. Because brothers gonna say you can show it, baby. You know? On a lighter note, I don't know what it is. I guess I just have a lot of idle time on my hands. I'm starting to get hooked on these videos of these Asians. I don't know where they are in some jungle. And they cooking shrimp and fish and coming up. And I find myself watching these videos all the time. Now, some of it doesn't look good, but sometimes I'm like, man, that shit looks good. Do you see the one where the dude build a whole damn, grill and shit out of bricks and sand? And cook him some crabs.
and it looked like he did this shit in like 30 minutes.
Well, he worked all day for them crabs. He was hungry as hell when he got done. So yeah, man,
I've seen that. I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
It's a hoop, man. I've been watching. I want to say to everybody, thank you for tuning in to the show.
Yeah, man.
We finally got everything working right.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got stuff working right. And look forward. Shout out to my brother Tef. We got so much stuff coming down the pipe. I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to jinx it. We're gonna make some moves like never before.
Yeah.
We're gonna really make we're gonna make imprint for the 414 with this podcasting on YouTube, on Facebook. We're gonna really represent the 414.
Future's bright.
If you missed the show, please go back and watch it. We've been on since 8 p.m. I don't like to stay on too long because I don't want to give you too much. I will say this: if you missed the show, go back and check us out on my page, Kevin Barnes. I've gotten a lot of friend requests. I have over 1,400 friends on Facebook right now, and a lot of this has come since we've been doing the show. So shout out to you if you send me a friend request. If I haven't gotten to it, I'll get around to it. And if you one of those haters, we already said, what's your Cuban thing?
Fuck you,
right? But if you like what we're doing, please support. Please continue to support. We do have a YouTube page. The links are on my Facebook page. It is the People's Network on Facebook. It's the People's Network, the People's News Network on. It's the People's Network on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram.
All right, there it is.
And it is Kevin Barnes, and it's the People's News Network on Facebook. Yeah. So go hit like, hit share, hit follow, man. I want to thank y'all for coming in, rolling with us. We'll have a very, very good show Saturday night.
Another one.
A lot of more information to give up. A lot of more people to put on blast.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to have, because I know we got my sister coming in for Black Nurses Rock. She's coming in. She's going to come on represent with us. And I'll be glad to have her on. She'll be here next week. My sister Octavia Emanuel Wright, who I went to high school with, another one of those generals. Just when you thought you can get rid of us, right? Here we come, leading the charge for the new world, right?
All right.
Is what we do. Yeah. So let me make sure who we got. I think somebody added something in the YouTube. Let me double check. Sound Silhouette said, get that Instagram going. No doubt, brother. Now you know what, and me and his brother had a great conversation. Shout out to Sound Silhouette.
Wait, you see how he threw me under the bus earlier?
Right. No. Check out Black, man. Go check out Black and White. I'm going to keep sharing it. Until y'all watch it, I'm going to keep sharing it. Go check it out. And we're going to get the Instagram popping, man. We're going to get it popping. You get these old dudes technology, man. You put the glasses on and shit at the end of your nose. I think you got a new follower.
We slow but sure.
Right, man. So I want to close out, man. We're going to get out of here. We're going to go have a good time. Me and my brother got to go talk about some business. Coming to a venue near you. Shout out to 3041 North. Shout out to DAMGENT. Shout out to the Get Motivated, Get Healthy Facebook group and Miss Serena Brown. If you get on 3041 North's calendar, it's 414 3131. My brother, you got something?
I was gonna say, man, on Saturday we got plans to go check out the brother Antoine Mack. We might
Yes.
be doing live from a different location or whatever.
And we'll get
we're doing.
if we do that, we'll get the Instagram pop.
Yeah,
we'll get it
yeah.
popping.
So stay tuned for that, man.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to give a shout out to all the bus drivers, man.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all.
Got it rough right now. Right.
All the bus drivers, man, they don't understand. Y'all out there getting that money, man, but it ain't no joke, man.
It's a labor of love, but it's damn sure a labor.
Yeah, man. Shout out to y'all.
I just want to tell people, man, don't ever pigeonhole yourself. Don't get caught up in a bad situation. I have to rest in peace to my uncle Larry, who just passed away. We call him Rooster. We call him Tomcat. We call him a bunch of different things. He was a man of many hats. But he'd always say one thing. He said, I never get caught in a bad situation depending on the person. Because I got one woman up the hill and I got one woman down the hill. What one won't do, the other one will.
Watch out.
I'll see y'all Saturday night.
Peace.